Welcome to Prima Donna News, where we give unbiased commentary about trending topics, as well as expose the propaganda surrounding Robert Kelly. Make sure to hit the like button, share the content, and ensure all notifications are on all in order to get all notifications from our channel.
Check out this clip and stay tuned for my commentary and leave your comments.
A lot of you don't know about this because it's been hidden. All this shit's fake. Everything's been hidden. Everything that you know is a lie. But I want to hit you with something that you can't run from. Just like we can't run from 9/11, we can't run from the Holocaust. Y'all ain't gonna run from this shit. Because 100 years ago, yesterday, there was this thriving black community that was independent. We wasn't messing with nobody. Slavery was over, and we were just trying to make a way for ourselves, our own independence, after being enslaved for 400 years. So they made Tulsa a state. So then you have one side of the tracks, you have white ex-slave owners, and then the other side of the tracks, you have these black people that are independent entrepreneur, free thinkers that are getting together and deciding not to wait on help to come. It was a black Wakanda. This is the greatest black economic accomplishment ever. Let me tell you what these folks did. These folks were so jealous, they figured out a way to get a plane and drop bombs on us. Kerosene bombs on the top of our town, our roofs, our banks. Then they went and drugged our brothers and our fathers and our sisters, and they raped our mothers, and they killed our children. And they did it, and then they tried to erase it. We're not going to let that shit be erased. And we're not going to let the story end like this. So this message is to everybody that's just tired of waiting for somebody to come save us. That's not going to come save us, okay? It's time for us to fight back. It's time for us to unify. Don't you know all we got to do is stick together? This thing don't take years. It takes integrity and rules and things that we're going to do. And the only thing I'm asking is we start and we make sure that we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors and we come up with the solution.
I'm tired of this shit. They burnt kids. They did this. We can't even breathe. We got 0% of the wealth. I want to tap into, do any of y'all want to fight? The This is the fight. All that other shit. Now, we can get all that other shit. We get some money and get some independence and start getting the resources so we can police our own communities. We can hire our own. Everything starts from money. We want to cure diabetes, you need money. You want to affect the wealth gap, you need money. You want to do education, you need anything. You need money. That's it. Everybody leave. If you don't have no money, you're just going to sit here and be a broke nigga with no money, talk about the same shit we was talking about 100 years ago. And I'm not doing that.
It should be no surprise how these prosecutors who took such pride in the strategy used to take R. Kelly down and to garner their convictions are now speaking on Diddy's case. And I remind the people of all of the propaganda that we saw starting to resurface that led me to believe that a lot of these celebrities should have been paying a little more attention to what was going on with R. Kelly, considering a lot of the debauchery that we hear about within the industry that they claim is common practices, that they won't consider these prosecutors having the discretion to come back at any point in time and form this history of misconduct to put you under a racketeering act. And while all of these other celebrities are getting so much humor watching this play out, even making their own content and propaganda, it should be no surprise why we see some of these accusers who were so voluntarily willing to do certain things in order to get a bag, but now have been convinced that they were victimized and are now being used to perpetuate these agendas. Now, the obvious hard part with R. Kelly's situation is because they included so many stories about alleged minors. But now when you look at the other hand, when it's Diddy and you see them talking about all of these adults and they're still using this same act, which is the Mann Act, it should trigger your mind to think back at why we keep putting to the forefront that these people who actually testified against Robert Kelly were not minors, they were adults. However, they were able to use these stories for what happened in the past to facilitate the racketeering charges. Clearly, anybody with a little mind can recognize that they're abusing this whole abuse of authority figure bullshit just to allow these women to again manipulate the fact that they wanted to use these celebrities for specific reasons and they were willing to comply with whatever weird things they had going on in order to keep the finances flowing. With that being said, haven't I always maintained that what people do behind closed doors, however freaky it is their own business. But when it comes to when the law is able to bring out these specific laws that people are actively engaging in, selectively, that is the issue that I have when these people have the discretion to charge who they want. And the first thing that people do will start to race bait. Like how Diddy's people are talking about this black juror being eliminated is kind of similar to these people bringing in these black faces that were supposed to help R. Kelly that got in there with their Martin Luther King, I Have a Dream speeches and shit. Meanwhile, putting little effort to dismantle all of these allegations that have been compiled to make their client look like a sexual deviant. You didn't see them trying to get anything suppressed. You didn't see them go out the way to bring in no real witnesses. And all you saw were these people making this man look hella crazy on the mainstream spectrum, while others were under the impression all of these people were here to help R. Kelly, when clearly the only thing that could have helped him was the proper defense. Just like with Diddy, we see he has the dream team compared to the ineffective counsel that R. Kelly had during his trial. And just like that, when R. Kelly makes a motion so that he can fight his convictions on house arrest, you got all these people confused in the fact that we know damn well the fight is far from over. However, with all of the corruption that we've seen displayed publicly, it should be no surprise why people want to be more vocal in putting things on the record when it comes to the courts. With that said, I know we all can see how this will be set up in the future, considering the judge ruled that the juror that they were fighting about is going to be taken off and replaced. So just don't be surprised if that same excuse is used as far as being convicted by a predominantly white jury. Never mind, in R. Kelly's case, he was set up to appear before these jurors who had been subjected to all this propaganda, the articles, the Surviving R. Kelly saga. I mean, after all, as they said, even if you don't know R. Kelly or nothing about his music, everybody has been exposed to some of these allegations in some way, form, or another. And I will never agree with turning a blind eye in R. Kelly's case because people want to keep running with these preconceived notions about him abusing minors, being such a predator towards these so-called kids, but putting all these adults on the stand and nobody sitting back thinking how janky that looks in itself. Never mind, in Diddy's case, there has been some similar allegations revolving some minors that selectively they decided not to run with. Ain't that interesting? With all that said, what do you think about all this? Leave your comments below because I'd love to know how you compare both cases and how people like to run with this race baiting like that means just because it's a black face, they're going to give you your due process.